Odin had himself betrayed. Our end was inescapable. Our fate was woven into the tale like a double skein of mortality. That knowledge tainted everything. Even at the pinnacle of our achievements, the prophecy of the oracle cast its shadow over us. And worst of all, it was a lie designed to bring about the very doom we sought to escape. The Aesir fell. Game over. Boo-hoo. So, to recap, the story so far. God, that's Odin, meets demon, that's me. God recruits demon from chaos with a view to exploiting his talents. God's friends and fellow deities take a somewhat dim view of this, as through a combination of hubris, predestination, and increasingly bad life choices, demon goes a bit off the rails, falls into bad company, wreaks havoc, causes the odd death, and eventually finds himself chained to a couple of rocks in Netherworld, is rescued by the sorceress just in time to play his part in the engineering of Ragnarok, including the fall of his erstwhile friends, before realizing that the house always wins, whichever color card you play. I could have swung the outcome, you know. Even then, if Odin had acknowledged his mistake, I like to think they could have been saved. After all, it wouldn't have been the first time my quick thinking saved the gods from the brink of disaster. If he'd believed in me from the start, things might have been different. But Odin believed in the oracle. That thrice-damned bauble had his ear, and somehow it managed to steer us towards the rocks we'd been trying to avoid. And Odin was a stiff-necked fool, and the rest of the gods always hated me. And so we lost Asgard, and they fell. Thor, Tyr, even the old man himself. I see your fate, O sons of earth. I hear the battle calling. Odin's folk prepare to ride against the shadows falling. As for yours truly, I plunged to my fate in the arms of my nemesis, Heimdall. Having just thrown the oracle, Mimir's severed and calcified head, from the ruins of Asgard into the icy waste below. And in those last moments of freefall, with the giant shadow of chaos looming above me, oblivion seemed the most promising of my few remaining options. The prophecy put it quite well. Once more the wolf at Hell's Gate greets Asgard's heroes one by one. Battle rages, worlds collide, stars fall. Once more, death has won. Actually, in my case, death wasn't really the problem. The ruler of Hell owed me a favor, and as I fell into the dark, I was already working out a scheme to talk her into redeeming it. No, the problem was chaos, the element into which I'd been born, and into which I would be reclaimed as soon as I left my corporeal form. And knowing the Lord of Chaos, I guessed my welcome wouldn't involve tea and little fairy cakes. There's a special place reserved for renegades of chaos. It has no bars, it has no doors, and yet it constrains more efficiently than any dungeon of the known worlds. The Black Fortress of Netherworld, a prison more secure than death, because death, at least, is escapable, in theory at any rate, and no one I knew of had ever escaped a cell in the Black Fortress. I'd seen some bad things in my time, and done a few, if truth be told. I'd laughed in the face of death more times than Thor could shake a hammer at, but right now, things were not looking good for your humble narrator. Don't think I didn't have a plan. I always have a plan. But as a traitor, both to the gods and to their enemies in chaos, I was currently persona non grata all across the 9 worlds. If I survived my fall from the sky, which currently didn't seem likely, and if I escaped Surt's shadow, which seemed even less so, there would be nowhere for me to hide. Wherever I went, whatever I did, death was the only escape for me. And so I fell and hit the ground, which turned out to be every bit as hard as it had looked from the top of
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.